There's just so few filmmakers that have, an unexpected sort of way of tackling different subjects. And there's always such mystery and intrigue, and there's the element of the unknown with his characters and his stories that makes you want to continue watching his work. So, he brought this film to me, and it was something he was working on for 10 years, and I simply jumped at the opportunity to be able to collaborate with him and work with him.
Road on crew, road on sound department, road on big cameras on departments, road on the move. One there. One more stop. Mojo next.
Perfidia is very complex. Perfidia got a lot going on. And Perfidia is very selfish, but I think that Perfidia is just a girl who is in survival mode. And I think being in survival mode is a scary place. When you're in survival mode, the trust issues is out the door. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she's complicated, but it's still something that you empathize with.
And the vehicle is hot to go. That's my first thing. Then, Serge, I need to let's review the cameras. The order of rolling and speeds. You're the first one, right?
Even though it's big and full of action and stunts and there's explosions, there's all kinds of action movie stuff, but all through it, it's a Paul exploring that human condition. And that's at the core of the film. And I think that's what makes it a little bit different.
Paul did not want us to meet early on, and that goes to the relationship. So I didn't meet her for a long time, but I did see, until we started working together. But I would see her around set sometimes, and I saw her in dailies, and I just thought, how did he find someone so perfect for this? This whole cast was really, made me very happy to be around.
And background action, background.
My character kind of kicks into full gear when we see these dark forces from his past come back to get him, and the one thing that he's trying to protect most dearly, and that's his daughter.
I think just like getting to find the levels of their relationship, where they are, where they finish, and like where they end up at the end of the story. It was such an inspiring thing to do with him, because obviously he is Leonardo DiCaprio, and he has like had a plethora of experience that like he's on everybody's famous actor list. He's been in at least everybody's like one of their favorite films. So getting to have that journey with him and have those in-depth conversations with him was a treat, and it is something that I'll never forget.
Perfidia is very complex. Perfidia got a lot going on. And Perfidia is very selfish, but I think that Perfidia is just a girl who is in survival mode. And I think being in survival mode is a scary place. When you're in survival mode, the trust issues is out the door. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she's complicated, but it's still something that you empathize with.
Randomly out of the blue, he sends me a text message, and he just said, "Hey, my name's Paul Thomas Anderson. I make movies. Would I be able to give you a call?" And I said, "Sure, when?" He's like, "Right now." So I took the call, and we talked. We had a great conversation. You know, it's like the first time you talk to Paul Thomas Anderson is the same as if you were talking to your best friend for the last 20 years. He's that engaging and that welcoming and warming. And, you know, I said, you know, what's it about? And he said, well, how about you just read the script and, you know, tell me if you like it.
Comedy, I think, comes from like, oh my God, this is really real. Whatever I did in my past is really coming back to haunt me, and I'm now in what seems like a James Bond movie, but I am not capable or well equipped whatsoever to deal with the opposition in any way. And that creates a very comedic element that I think just comes naturally. I don't think it was something that we tried to force.
So it's still like it's action, but it's a PTA version of action, right? So it's still through that lens, you know, that his filmmaking lens. But the scope of that feels big. The scenes, how they're caught. It's, you know, it's certainly bigger than it read on paper. I told Paul, I said, you know, you read it and it says car chase, chaos, TBD. Then you get on set and you're like, wait, we're gonna actually be weaving through cars and we're on a highway and, you know, they're running and it's telling, you know, you can't, I guess my brain couldn't necessarily envision that amount of chaos. But I think, yeah, I think that's what makes it exciting is that it's bigger, but it's still honest.
It feels like family, you know, and you know, not only am I alongside Paul, but Paul's alongside people he's been working with for decades, you know, so you already know it feels like home. But I love his balance of like his toughness, his love, and his warmth. And it feels really good to work with him.
So I'm listening to Brad. No, I'm not listening to any ADs. I'm going to Brad only. ADs, we're hearing that. You're not speaking. Group one is Brad.
The action sequences are really bold, but done in a way that is, again, in a Paul Thomas Anderson fashion that is very unexpected. It's not your traditional action. He propels you with a tension that starts from the beginning and lasts throughout the entirety of this movie. There's not a second that you can kind of take a breath.